Guys, welcome back. So we're going to continue the never-ending testing of golf balls that it seems to be.
They keep releasing them, so we'll keep testing them.
You literally could just dedicate your time to just testing the golf balls that are out there right now and the new ones that come out and the variations and doing different tests against them. It's a fascinating thing. You know, every time we feel like we've gotten towards the end of, okay, we've tested kind of mostly what's current, then we go, well, we've never tested a Bridgestone ball.
I know, which is why that's the biggest one, really,
exactly,
isn't it?
Which is where we are today. So we're finally going to crack into that sort of company and the sort of selection, and because to a lot of people's opinion, Bridgestone and Titleist are kind of, you know, the two kind of biggest golf ball names out there, I think, in North America.
And it's got to be somewhat price point based. Like Bridgestone to me has a really loyal following, and I think it's because they are a little bit more reasonable. And then obviously you get someone like Tiger playing it, and then people feel that it's validated, obviously, and that the technology is good and the consistency is good enough to be that way, but it's not quite Pro V1 level price.
I think a lot of people thought when Tiger, obviously with the whole Nike sort of demise, they thought, I think, he would be a Pro V1 guy.
Yeah, I think quite a few people did think that.
That was the general consensus, and I think people were quite surprised when he went, obviously, to Bridgestone. And I mean, there's talk over the years of kind of perhaps a Bridgestone influence within Nike or something.
Was he playing the same ball?
We'll never know. No. We will never truly know. True. People will kind of conspire to say these things, but we will never sort of truly know. Today we're diving into Tiger's golf ball, the Tour B. Tour B
XS. We got the real Tiger version and everything.
We have.
Tiger stamp on the side.
Absolutely.
Had to do it properly.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, you know, a lot of people will probably wonder, like, is the Tiger stamped one different from the other Tour B XS? And it's not.
It's not, no.
The additional cost is actually a donation to the Tiger Woods Foundation, but it's the exact same golf ball.
You just get a cool box.
Yeah. And we were chatting earlier on about, you know, whether this is the one he uses, does he have a different version, all these sort of ideas with, you know, does he have a prototype version? And he actually came out and said that when I think it was when the US Open was at Shinnecock in 2017, he actually had to go into the pro shop and buy golf balls.
Stock up.
He needed a couple of boxes for whatever reason, and he said anywhere he can go, he uses the exact retail version, and he can go buy them off the shelf because it's exactly what he uses.
Good to hear. I mean, I think certain companies obviously have been picked on because there are so many tour version balls you actually can't buy. And it kind of, I can see how that kind of sucks for a consumer where they're like, well, I want to buy the ball that whoever's using, and it probably isn't.
There's a bunch of companies that you're absolutely right. There's a lot of that goes on using sort of special editions, previous year's models, a lot of that sort of stuff goes on. But
this is the real deal as far as we know.
According to the main man, he is using the 2018 Tour B RX.
XS. I know. There's so many.
So many.
XRS. So I think the thing with this ball specifically, why it's interesting, is Tiger loves to spin the ball as much as possible. Right. He is not at all sort of, I guess, modern in the sense where he's looking for like a flatter flight on any iron. No. He wants to spin the ball like crazy around the greens, control the wedges.
So you know, you can see that in some of the places where he tends to do quite well. It's when there's small shelves on the greens, because he can really, you know, get that golf ball flighted up, and he can get it dropping and stopping in those small little collection areas. And that's a big advantage he has.
Like the Masters.
Indeed. All
right. Let's give it our treatment.
Yeah.
And wedge first.
We have some Pro V1 sort of numbers.
Data from a couple hours ago.
Yeah, from earlier today. So we're going to leave that up there again as some baseline numbers. So why don't we go get some numbers from this?
Okay.
Hold it.
Ooh, coming back. It looks spinny.
Probably hit two of the best wedge shots I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's a good one.
That's the one.
Straight.
That looked good. That was pounded.
That's better.
Okay, so there we have it. Tiger Woods' golf
the
ball
Tiger ball.
actually spins significantly
Yes.
more than
Sort of
the
your
standard
standard, yeah.
premium golf ball.
Yep.
Let's look through the numbers. I mean, I think as we were going along, I think we were hoping that it would do as advertised. We always
sure.
do.
Well, you never want it to. You never really want products to be confusing to people. Like
Yeah.
I know there's been times where we have found stuff isn't as advertised, but ideally you don't really want people
No.
to buy something that isn't what they expect.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. We quite like to, validate, the manufacturers and their claims
Ideally,
and
yeah.
things like that. So this was a pretty cool test.
For sure.
Let's look at the wedges to start with. A little bit lower in launch, 28.2 versus 29. Spin rate was up another, 500?
About a 500, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's significant enough.
A nice looking wedge flight. I know we're on a simulator, but I noticed it taking off a little lower. Like
Yeah.
I like the look of that. I can see why someone like Tiger that wants the most control
Yeah.
gives you, that he probably launches his wedges even lower, being a good wedge player. So
Absolutely.
really good looking flight.
Yep. 7-iron, we're looking at 800 more.
Yeah, and a full degree lower in launch too. It's very.
Do you know what I think? It always seems to be the case that when we see big differences in the golf ball, it's in that mid-iron range.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
When they start to separate in performance.
I think we always expect the wedge will be like the craziest difference, and it's maybe once in a while. But these, for that ball being that much spinnier, for the 7-iron to be where the 900 RPMs was instead of the wedge, you're right. It's interesting.
It's a lot, isn't it? One thing as we went along, I couldn't help but notice how quick the Bridgestone ball seemed.
Yeah, definitely.
It seemed like it was really, really impressive on ball speed.
A couple 7-irons are hit that were kind of in the 135, and I'm not going at them, super hard on purpose or anything, and they seem to really jump off the face nicely.
I mean, for an additional sort of 800 RPMs in spin, you've not lost any distance.
Same yardage.
You've not kind of had that flight kind of ballooning on you at all. So the launch has been a degree lower and 800 sort of more in the spin for the exact same number pretty much with but almost 1.5 miles an hour more ball speed. Interesting. It was when we got to the driver that I noticed that we were 2.2 miles an hour quicker.
Yep.
But with 400 RPMs more.
Yeah, the spin was more and consistent. Every time I said to you that was a really good strike, they were 25, 26, 2700 RPMs every single time. None of them were low. Like I don't think we hit one that was low in spin. So
no.
a bit different in that sense. I think usually when we get to the driver, everything seems to kind of just be exactly the same.
It really ends up being the same, doesn't it?
This is probably the one time where we can. Well, I shouldn't say. No, even the RB Tour wasn't much different off the driver. This is probably the one time we can say that the driver is it is substantially different in spin profile.
That's the high spinning premium golf ball we've ever tested off the driver.
Agree. Yep.
No question.
Agree. So for some people, they may look at that and go, "Oh, I don't want that."
Oh, there's so many players that come in here that that I fit and work with, and we're scratching and looking at different heads and different sort of ways we can set the golf club up in order to spin it a little bit more.
To shave, or add. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this would be hugely beneficial. So fast, we know that obviously in terms of height, that's one of the primary factors. But you've got additional spin, so you've got stopping power. Seems like a great golf ball.
I think it's a really good ball. I mean, it's got enough of a characteristics like a Pro V. It's going to feel similar. It's going to, I think, from what we've seen, didn't hit a million shots, but durability is good, stuff like that. It's not kind of drastically different, but it gives you another option.
I'm really keen to try it myself. I must admit.
I think it's perfect for you right now.
For someone that spins it as low as I do off the irons, and I could always use a little bit more off the driver as well. This could be really in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. I mean, it's 10% extra spin basically for free, right, off the mid iron. So
fascinating.
Someone who wants not necessarily launch angle, obviously, is determined by other stuff. But if you need a little bit more time in the air, stop it on the greens.
How did it feel?
Feels good.
So it didn't sound overly soft.
No. If it, to be honest, like Pro V1 would be probably about the same.
Similar?
I would have a very hard time telling them apart.
So really we're saying cover. It's just a softer cover, basically.
It must be. Yeah, it must be. I would wonder if there's something that goes on in one of the inner layers that's a bit different, just because of the driver spin.
Yeah.
I'm so curious how that driver spin.
Yeah.
It's cool for us because we just never see any difference. Like the driver part of the test almost gets boring because we go, oh, okay, well there's your 2300, let's move on.
Yeah.
But it actually, reacts a little bit different at that speed. So, but I would say they must be a pretty similar ball. Maybe that covers just a slightly softer material or something. But it's a good ball.
Very cool. I'm glad we tested that,
Me
and
too.
I'm keen to see what the other ones are like. What the standard, the
So many
Tour,
to test.
Tour BX and the getting into the R range.
I was going to say, so the softer range, the R range, there's an RXS.
There's an RXS, and then there's just an RX.
Yes, I'd like to see Ronnie try the RXS because he can always use a little more spin.
Yeah.
But again, with these compression things we've been talking about, a little different thing happened with this EXP ball.
Yeah.
So maybe, that mid-range being a bit softer, it might be, he might still be getting the ball speed. I think it would be a good one for him to test, though.
Have we done the ball test with Ronnie?
We've tested balls with him during
just
fits.
during fits, but
not
we've never.
specifically.
Yeah. This has been a great test. I'm really glad you grabbed some of those.
No, it was really
awesome.
Really worth doing for sure.
Yeah.
Really good ball.
Okay, guys, I'm sure loads of you will have tried this. Obviously, it's not a new product by any means, but it's just new for us to try. Let us know what it performs like for you. I think one thing we're going to see is people overwhelmingly saying how good the Bridgestone golf balls are.
Yes.
I think that's what I expect to read in the comments in this video.
I feel like I never hear anything negative. It's always just requests. I think it's from people, they love them, and it's like, well, I wish you guys would test them.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we at least got into it, and we'll do the rest of the range.
Good.
For sure.
Yeah, more to come on that, eh?
Yep, 100%.
Good stuff. Okay, guys, we'll see you again soon.